History's greatest empires collapsed when they ran out of money. The Romans, the Ottomans, the British, all commanded more wealth than most nations see today, and yet they fell. MrBeast gives millions away on camera and becomes even richer. Something fundamental about wealth has changed, and most people still don't see it. There is one economic principle that powerful leaders throughout history failed to understand. Kings ignored it, emperors dismissed it, industrial tycoons overlooked Italiano, but a YouTuber stumbled upon it accidentally. And once the pattern becomes clear, the collapse of empires and the rise of digital creators suddenly makes perfect sense. This isn't just about entertainment. This is about how wealth actually works, how it grows, how it dies, and why the rules changed without anyone noticing. Consider what happened to Rome at Hittite. The Roman Empire controlled 3 continents. Gold flowed into the capital from every conquered territory. The treasury overflowed. Military might seemed unstoppable. Citizens believed the empire would last forever. But Rome had a structural problem. The larger the empire grew, the more expensive it became to maintain. Armies required payment. Roads needed constant repair. Governors demanded salaries. Border defenses consumed resources without producing anything in return. Rome's solution seemed logical. Extract more wealth from the territories already controlled. Increase taxation. Demand greater tribute. Squeeze harder for a time. The strategy worked. Revenue increased. The appearance of strength remained intact. But something invisible was breaking. The Roman denarius began to lose silver content. What once contained 95%. Silver slowly dropped to 5%. The currency was debased. Citizens noticed. Merchants adjusted prices upward. Inflation accelerated. Trust in the monetary system eroded. When trust disappears, currency becomes worthless. And when currency fails, empires that depend on it cannot pay soldiers, cannot fund infrastructure, cannot maintain control. The wealthiest empire in history found itself unable to afford its own survival. Rome didn't fall because barbarians were stronger. It fell because the economic foundation rotted from within. The empire took value from its territories but failed to create new value. Extraction without creation is a slow death sentence. This pattern would repeat across history. Again and again, empires would rise by creating value, then collapse by merely extracting it. 6 centuries after Rome's fall, another superpower made the exact same mistake. The Ottoman Empire in the 16th century controlled trade between East and West. Silk from China, spices from India, gold from Africa, everything moved through Ottoman territory. East was the financial heart of the known world. The empire's wealth wasn't just vast, it was strategic. European kingdoms borrowed money from Ottoman banks. The currency held value across continents. The Sultan's treasury could fund wars that lasted decades. But then the world changed. European explorers discovered new routes around Africa, across the Atlantic. The gatekeepers were suddenly bypassed. The Ottomans faced a choice: adapt to the new reality, invest in new systems, innovate, or double down on the old model. Control what remained, extract more from existing trade routes, tighten the grip. They chose extraction. Increased taxes on merchants who couldn't leave, stricter controls on trade that was already declining. The same mistake Rome made. Take more, create less. By the 18th century, Ottoman economic power was stagnating. By the 19th, the empire was called the sick man of Europe. By 1923, it no longer existed. The pattern was identical. When systems stop creating value and only extracted, collapse becomes inevitable. Not sudden, not dramatic, just a slow, grinding decline that feels normal until it's irreversible. Now consider the British Empire. Its peak in the early 20th century. Britain controlled a quarter of the world's land and population. The pound sterling was the global reserve currency. London was the center of international finance. Le sun never set on British territory. And then, within 50 years, it was over. 2 world wars accelerated the decline. But wars alone don't explain what happened. The structural problem was deeper. Britain's wealth came from extraction. Raw materials from India. Resources from Africa. Labor from colonies scattered across the globe. The system worked as long as the colonies remained under control. But extraction is a one-time transaction. Resources run out. Populations resist. And when colonies gained independence, the system collapsed. Britain didn't just lose territory, it lost the economic engine that powered its dominance. Without access to colonial resources, the economy contracted. The pound weakened. Global influence faded. Today Britain manages wealth created by others. Financial services. Banking. The empire that once created global systems now facilitates transactions within systems built by someone else. The pattern held: extraction without creation leads to decline every time, without exception. But here's where everything suddenly flips. Now shift to the present. A content creator gives away cars, houses, private islands, and millions in cash. Production budgets rival Hollywood films. Each video costs more than most people earn in a lifetime, and instead of going bankrupt, the creator becomes wealthier. This seems to violate basic economics. Spending millions should reduce wealth, giving money away should lead to ruin, and yet the opposite happens. The explanation isn't luck, it's not charity, it's a fundamental shift in how wealth is created in the modern world. MrBeast isn't spending money, he's investing it, but the investment isn't in stocks or real estate, it's in something far more valuable: attention. In the old economy, wealth came from controlling scarce physical resources. Land. Oil. Gold. Labor. Whoever controlled these resources controlled wealth. Empires fought wars over territory because territory meant resources. Resources meant power. But in the digital economy, the scarce resource changed. There are billions of people on the planet, but only so many hours in a day, only so much mental bandwidth, only so much attention to give. Attention is now the scarce resource, and whoever controls attention controls wealth. MrBeast doesn't own oil fields. He doesn't control territory. He controls something more valuable: 8 minutes of focused attention from millions of people, and he's mastered the system that delivers it. The mechanism is precise. Platforms like YouTube operate on algorithms. These algorithms optimize for one metric above all others: watch time. If people click a video and watch it all the way through, the algorithm shows it to more people. MrBeast segues maintains 60% audience retention. Most creators struggle to reach 40%. That difference is everything. The algorithm promotes his content aggressively. More promotion means more views. More views mean more revenue. More revenue funds bigger productions. Bigger productions generate even more views. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. And unlike physical resources, it has no ceiling. Rome ran out of territory to conquer. Britain ran out of colonies to exploit. But the internet has 5 billion users. The potential audience is nearly limitless. But the economics alone don't explain why the system works. There's a psychological component that makes this model uniquely powerful. Humans are wired to notice generosity. Evolution shaped brains to reward cooperative behavior. In ancestral environments, survival depended on sharing resources. When someone in the tribe shared food, everyone benefited. Brains learned to release positive chemicals in response to generosity. Dopamine. Oxytocin. The same neurochemistry that rewards eating or bonding. When someone watches MrBeast hand a stranger $100,000, the brain responds as if it received something. It didn't, but the emotional reaction is real. That feeling drives behavior. People return to the content they share. Italiano, they talk about it. They become emotionally invested in the success of the creator. Now contrast that with how empires operated. Rome's relationship with its provinces was transactional. Pay taxes or face punishment. The emotional response was fear, sometimes resentment, never loyalty. Built on positive emotion. Britain's relationship with its colonies was extraction. Resources flowed to London. Wealth was taken. Nothing of equal value was given back. The emotional response was anger. Rebellion. Resistance. MrBeast Cinco's relationship with the audience is fundamentally different. The message isn't take, it's give. The emotional response isn't fear or anger. It's gratitude. Loyalty. Trust. This matters more than most realize. People don't rebel against systems that make them feel good. They defend them. They recruit others into them. They participate voluntarily and enthusiastically. Empires ruled by force. Modern creators rule by consent, and consent built on positive emotion is far more powerful than control built on fear. And right here is where the story takes its most dramatic turn, but there's another layer. The giving isn't random, it's strategic. Every dollar given away is reinvested into the system. Traditional business logic suggests taking profits out of a company, save it, invest in stocks, diversify, protect the gains. That's what wealthy people have done for centuries. MrBeast does the opposite. Every dollar earned goes back into production. A video costs $3 million to produce. It generates $6 million in revenue. The profit is $3 million. Instead of saving it, the entire amount funds the next video. The next video costs $6 million. It generates $12 million. The profit is $6 million. All of it goes back into the system. Again, this is compound growth. The same principle that built Amazon. Jeff Bezos didn't take profits out of Amazon for 20 years. Every dollar was reinvested into infrastructure, technology, and inventory. By the time profits were extracted, the company was worth over $1 trillion. The pattern is identical. Reinvestment creates exponential growth. Extraction creates a linear decline. Rome extracted wealth and spent it on luxuries that produced nothing. Britain took colonial resources and used them to fund wars. MrBeast reinvests everything into creating more content that generates more attention, that produces more revenue, that funds even larger productions. One system compounds, the other depletes. Yet there is a hidden danger. The same structural weakness that destroyed every empire still exists, and modern creators are not immune. Every empire began simple. Rome started as a single city. Britain began as a small island kingdom. MrBeast started with one person filming videos in a bedroom. But as empires grow, they become complex. More employees, more departments, more decisions, more bureaucracy, and complexity kills speed. Rome couldn't respond quickly to threats because its administration was too slow. Britain couldn't adapt to independence movements because the colonial structure was too rigid. And MrBeast now runs multiple companies, hundreds of employees, massive production teams. The machine that once moved fast is now heavy. And here's the danger. Algorithms reward speed, fresh content, constant innovation. The moment a creator loses speed, the algorithm moves on to someone faster. This is the cycle that destroyed empires. Success creates complexity. Complexity creates slowness. Slowness creates decline. The question isn't whether this problem will emerge, it's whether it can be solved before it becomes fatal. But there's an even deeper threat, one that every empire ignored until it was too late. Trust. Rome fell because citizens stopped trusting the currency. The Ottomans declined because traders stopped trusting the trade system. Britain lost influence because colonies stopped trusting the empire's promises. MrBeast's entire model depends on trust. The audience trusts that giveaways are real. They trust that authenticity is genuine. They trust that the creator cares about more than just profit. If that trust ever breaks, the system collapses instantly. A scandal, a revelation of manipulation, a perception of inauthenticity. Any of these could shatter the foundation. Unlike empires that ruled by force, modern creators ruled by voluntary participation, and voluntary participation can be withdrawn in a moment. This is the hidden vulnerability, the one economic force that no amount of money can overcome. Loss of truths. So what does this mean? History's greatest empires collapsed because they forgot one fundamental truth. Wealth flows toward whoever creates the most value. Rome extracted value from provinces. Britain controlled value in colonies. MrBeast creates value and gives it away. And paradoxically, that's why wealth continues to accumulate. In the attention economy, generosity isn't charity. It's the most efficient business model ever designed. Because giving builds trust. Trust generates attention. Attention creates wealth, and wealth reinvested into giving compounds. The cycle. Empires tried to control wealth through force. Creators generate wealth through voluntary participation. The former leads to rebellion and collapse. The latter leads to loyalty and growth. But the lesson goes deeper. The shift from physical resources to attention as the primary form of wealth changes everything about how economies function. Land can be conquered once. Attention must be earned continuously. Oil can be extracted until it runs out. Attention regenerates every day. This means the old rules no longer apply. Hoarding wealth made sense when resources were finite. In an attention economy, hoarding attention is impossible. Attention flows to whoever creates the most value in the present moment. Stop creating value, and attention disappears. This is why empires fell and why modern systems operate differently. Empires believed they could extract value indefinitely. Modern creators understand that value must be created continuously. The moment creation stops, the system dies. Yet one question remains unanswered. What happens when the creator steps away? Empires depended on strong leaders. When weak empires took power, Rome fractured. When ineffective monarchs ruled, Britain declined. MrBeast's single quotes S empire depends on MrBeast. The brand is the person. The trust is personal. The content is tied to one individual's vision and energy. If that individual exits, does the system survive, or does it collapse like every empire that depended on a single leader? The answer to that question determines whether this model lasts 5 years or 5 centuries. History suggests that systems built around individuals don't survive their founders. The Roman Republic lasted centuries. The empire that followed collapsed in decades. Why? Because republics distribute power, empires concentrate it, and concentration creates fragility. Modern creators concentrate attention in ways that mirror empires. The success depends on one person's decisions, energy, and reputation. If that person falters, the entire structure is at risk. This is the unresolved tension. The model works brilliantly, as long as the creator remains effective. But effectiveness can't be sustained forever. Energy declines, motivation shifts. New creators emerge with fresh ideas, and attention, which flows to whoever creates the most value, will eventually flow elsewhere. Unless the system evolves, unless the creator builds something larger than themselves, something that can function independently, something that distributes rather than concentrates. Whether that happens determines the future, not just for one creator, but for the entire model of wealth creation in the attention economy. And here's what nobody is talking about. So here's what history teaches. Empires collapsed because they violated a simple rule. Create more value than extracted. Give more than taken. Build trust rather than demand compliance. MrBeast's success isn't luck. It's the result of following that rule perfectly. Whether by design or accident doesn't matter. The outcome is the same. But history also teaches that no system lasts forever. Rome fell. The Ottomans declined. Britain faded. Every empire that seemed eternal eventually ended. The question isn't whether modern systems will face challenges. They will. The question is whether those challenges can be solved, whether complexity can be managed, whether trust can be maintained, whether the system can evolve beyond dependence on a single individual. That the answers aren't clear yet. The experiment is still running, but the stakes are higher than most realize, because the attention economy isn't just changing entertainment, it's changing how wealth is created, how influence is built, how power is distributed. And if the model collapses, the consequences won't be limited to one creator or one platform. They'll reshape the entire economic landscape. There is one hidden economic threat that no modern creator has successfully navigated. A force that destroyed monopolies, a force that governance fear, a force that ended the reign of empires and corporations alike. It's already beginning to show itself, and when it strikes, it moves faster than anyone expects. The clock doesn't stop, history doesn't wait, and the pattern always completes itself. If you want to know what that force is, and how it could end the creator economy overnight, drop a comment below. Tell me if you want part 2, because the next chapter reveals something even the biggest creators don't see coming. And once you understand it, you'll never look at digital influence the same way again. Subscribe to Path to Profit, where history meets the future of money.